So by this point, we already need to know what perpendicular means when you're talking about the slope. So like I mentioned on the previous video, perpendicular slopes have negative reciprocal slopes. So what you need to do is read what they give you and use it to find out what you need, okay? So what do they give us here? They give us a point and they indirectly give you a slope, right? Now the thing is, what is the slope of our line? Now, keep in mind, guys, that this is not our line. This is a line that they give you. The line that you want it to be perpendicular to this guy. Now, what does perpendicular mean? A negative reciprocal slope. So I need to take this slope, I need to change the sign and flip it. That way I know that my slope is actually positive 1/4. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So indirectly, now they don't go out there and say, "Hey, m is 1/4," but you need to be able to read, understand what they give you, and be able to get your slope, which is 1/4. So they give you the slope indirectly. What do they give you directly? Well, they directly give you the x and y value, which is a point, x1, y1. Okay. So if they give you a point and indirectly they give you a slope, what form are you going to use? Point slope form. Okay. So let's plug in the values. Let me rewrite this. Y minus equals blank spot parenthesis x minus blank spot. So let's plug in our values. What is our y1 value? -1. What is our m value? 1/4. We indirectly got that from the information provided, or they indirectly provided us with the slope 1/4. And we finally have -8 for our x value. Now, this is our point slope form equation. Now, if they just said write an equation, we would be done. But if you take a look at the instructions on this guy, way up here, it says to write it in slope-intercept, y equals mx plus b, in case you forgot. So we just wrote it in point slope form, but because they specifically ask for slope-intercept, we need to change this equation around. We need to make it look like slope-intercept. Now remember, you could change the way an equation looks. That's what the word form means, the appearance of it. So let's simply distribute or get rid of the fraction. Now, I like to actually distribute to both terms, especially if this number is divisible by this number, okay? But it's up to you. Let's say you had a 1/3, then I would get rid of the 1/3 by multiplying everything by 3. But in this case, 8 is divisible by 4, so I might as well distribute it. What do you guys want to do? Get rid of the fraction or distribute it? Let's distribute. I think that's the best choice. So 1/4 times x is simply 1/4 x. 1/4 times, and this is really a plus 8 because a minus minus changes to a plus plus. So I really have a plus, and if you're confused about multiplying a fraction times a number, it's easy. Put it over 1 and go ahead and multiply the top number with the top number and the bottom number with the bottom number. So we end up with 8/4, which ends up being a nice, beautiful 2. Now let me just rewrite the whole thing so we don't make any mistakes. This on the left becomes plus plus. We have y plus 1. We did say that the 8/4 ends up being 2. So we really have y plus 1 equals 1/4 x plus 2. And let's do our final move to get it in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b is to get rid of this minus or plus 1 by doing a -1 to both sides. So your final answer is y equals 1/4 x plus 1. Ta-da! You got it? So it's very important that we understand what they give us. Like number 6. How hard is number 6?
Really hard.
It's well, actually no, number 6 is actually kind of tricky. I like number 6. Yeah, because some of us are thinking, hey, they give us a slope and they give us an intercept, I'm done. Y equals 3/5 x minus 10. Wrong. Okay? Because the B value is the y-intercept, not the x-intercept. So you got to really carefully read what they give you. Pay attention to what you're reading so you could get the information that you need. So yes, for sure, you need m, and they tell you the m is 3/5. Okay? So that's the first important information we need. What else? They give us an x-intercept. So the b value, we don't know it yet. It's not -10. So we got to think about this, right? What does an x-intercept at 10 mean? It means that if you had an xy coordinate, actually I should have done it this way. X-intercept at -10, that would mean if you're at the origin, you go -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it would actually cross somewhere over here, right? The x-intercept. And what would the coordinate of that x-intercept be? -10, comma, 0. So, ladies and gentlemen, by them telling you that your x-intercept is at -10, they're really giving you a point. -10 and 0. So by you carefully reading that the x-intercept is at -10, you're getting the point -10, 0. So they're giving you two very important pieces of information. They're giving you the slope. They gave that to you straightforward, and they're indirectly giving you a coordinate, an x and y value of -10 and 0. So ladies and gentlemen, we have a slope, we have a point. What form are we going to use? Point slope. We have a point, we have a slope, let's use point slope form. So we have y minus y1. y1 happens to be 0, so I'm going to put a 0 right there, equals m. m is 3/5, so let me put 3/5 right here. And the x value on the point that we got out of the x-intercept is -10. So let me put -10 over here. And ladies and gentlemen, when we work this out, we end up with a plus right here. So you have an x plus 10 inside the parentheses. Outside of the parentheses, you have a 3/5 equals, and y take away 0 is simply y. Now, we would be done if they would say to leave it in point slope form, but they specifically want slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. So you already have the y equals, that's great. You have the m, that's great. But you don't want parentheses, right? So the only way to get rid of parentheses when you're multiplying on the outside is to distribute. Now you could temporarily get rid of the fraction by multiplying by 5 and multiplying by 5 and then distributing the 3, but that really takes a lot more work than what you should do. If you could see that this is divisible by 5, you might as well distribute it. 3/5 times x will simply be 3/5 x. That's easy. 3/5 times 10, you could put the 10 over 1, and then you could say, okay, 3 times 10 and 5 times 1. 3 times 10 is 30, and 30 over 5 is 6. I kind of did that work in my head. I hope you guys got that. Got it? Okay, so on the left side, we have y equals, and guess what? We're done. Y equals mx plus b is right there. Let's jump down to something where they give you a graph, and you need to find out the equation, and notice the instructions say in slope-intercept form. That's again y equals mx plus b. Now, in order for you to write it in slope-intercept form, you need an m and you need a b. So by looking at the line, could you tell me the m? Well, they give you this coordinate and this coordinate. One option is to label it x1, y1, x2, y2, do the slope formula, and you'll have your slope. But why would you do that if you already have the graph? You could simply count from one point to another. How much do you rise? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How much do you run? 1, 2. So it's really 6 over 2. And 6 over 2 reduces down to 3. So your slope is 3. What's your b value? It's the y-intercept. Now here's the y, guys. This is the x. You're looking at the y-intercept, which is right there. Where does it cross? -1 on y. Of course, if you get the coordinate 0, -1 is fine. But you want just the b value, which is the y-intercept. So ladies and gentlemen, we have the m, we have the b. We could write it in slope-intercept form. Y equals 3x minus 1. Ta-da! You see, it's easy.
Wait, why is
Why is b negative 1?